Call to order. We have no election of officers, that was a mistake, but also public comment, anybody? No? Approval of the minutes of last month.
I know it's boring, but I read them and they seem in order to me. That's you, Jeff.
I thought there were a lot of words there for very few people.
I'll try and use
It's
fewer
all-
words.
It's all accurate.
Less is more. Less is more.
A lot of words for
Okay, we have a motion on the floor.
I make a motion for approval of the minutes from the last meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Next item. Financial management report, go ahead, Patty.
Okay. February warrants total $25,805.19. Items to mention over $1,000 would be the U.S. Bancorp credit card in the amount of $10,359.59. Pier Restaurant for $3,643.20 for volunteer recognition. And Whatcom County Finance Department for $1,332.98. And that was for the 2015 BLS fees, or BLS transfer fees, transport, excuse me. Volunteer payroll included in the warrants totaled $5,344. February payroll is in the amount of $16,622.50. And that is for chief salary of $4,212.50. Assistant Chief Shields pay $2,750, and volunteer portion was $8,228. And there was one event for the commissioners and the secretary. The total payout for volunteers, warrants included, are $13,572. And your January financial statements are in your meeting book, along with the final 2015 year-end financial overview. And we need a motion to approve the warrants for February for $25,805.19. And payroll in the amount of $16,622.50.
So moved.
All second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Budget update, Patty?
Yes, budget update. Year-end, December 31st of 2015. There was a total of, after everything was expended for the 2015 budget, we ended up with $33,104.74, and that was unused funds remaining in the budget. And then for the projected revenue, we ended up with $14,081.24 over the projected amount. Those two added up is an overall carryover for 2016 in the amount of $47,185.98.
Right.
And that is right now, it's in expense investment earnings.
Good.
I have a question. Are those balances you guys cash, or are there accruals in there?
That is all, that's cash. Cash as it stands.
Now, is there an idea from the floor as to where you want to put that money? 47,185, you want to put that in the general account, reserve account, or capital account?
Seems to me should go in the reserve account.
Okay.
Yeah.
Keep in mind that we have, I think some time ago, we discussed the amount that we should keep in the reserve account in case of whatever reason. It was supposed to be around half of our annual budget. We're there now.
So if you take that money and put it in the capital account, what difference does it make?
I could go either way.
It makes a lot of difference. I think we should think about getting rid of the cash. We're not cash managers. The county gets back to us when they need statutory balances, and there's probably that. And when we need to withdraw, we need to park our funds in a place in which a professional money manager is responsible for maintaining it and making it grow. We shouldn't be in the cash investment business. And we don't have anything but a few spiky major projects that will deal with that kind of definition.
So, if I may, I won't know about our grants. I called Washington DC the other day. I won't know about our grants until probably, I was told to call him back at the end of March, so 1st of April. Obviously things have been delayed because I was hoping to find out on my birthday, but that didn't happen. So we're probably looking April, May, June, somewhere in there, and finding out whether or not we have been awarded any of the 3 grants that I put in for. As a reminder, I put in for an SCBA grant totaling around $180,000. I put in for an apparatus grant for $450,000 for a new engine, and also accumulated a regional grant with 3 other partners, ourselves, Ferndale, District 14, which is Everson, and Linden Fire, for the purchase of 8 cardiac monitors. And all of those are up for AFG awards, but I may get 1, I may get 2, I may get none. We just won't know. So if I don't get that, we are pretty much at the end road with our SCBA. So that's going to be $180,000 out of capital reserves coming mid-year if I'm unsuccessful at that. Right now, our bottles are at their hydrostatic testing date. They can't go out any further. Our masks are not to the NFPA standard currently, to the 2013 SCBA standard. And neither are our packs as well, because they've set a new standard for the remaining air, that our low air alarm goes off sooner now to evacuate buildings than what they are currently at. So I think we have somewhere, what do we have in capital right now?
Right now, we have $190,557.
So just on that one purchase, our capital could be pretty well expunged. And then we're looking at other things as well. Painting the facility this coming up summer, looking at different flooring. And I would like to look into getting, I'm putting in for a grant through King County Medic One program. And that's going to be a grant which they'll pay up to $10,000 of for a Lucas device, which is a mechanical CPR device. The reason why I would like to get a Lucas device here is because of the lack of personnel sometimes we have on scene. We've been fortunate enough that our CPR incidents have truly happened on weekend duties. So people are dying on the weekends, which is a positive thing because we have the personnel to cover that call and to do effective CPR, which has shown because we've saved 2 people in the last 2 years. We've had a life saved and they've gone on to live a very productive life. So our people train really, really hard, but the times that we only have 3 people show up and to do CPR for 30 to 40 minutes, that becomes very taxing, especially if there's other things to handle during that medical emergency. So if I'm lucky enough to get that, that would be another $6,000 on your approval out of capital reserves to have that machine available to us.
So back to the basic question, where do we put the
Yeah,
money?
that's
the
the
question.
lift to where we want to go.
So in savings, what do we have in savings?
So currently in expense investment, all of the money is invested, and it's all earning the same interest. It's just a matter of if you want to switch it between accounts. There's the expense investment account that has $258,280, and that is what I draw warrants and payroll from every month.
Right.
And when we receive taxes, it goes into expense cash, and I invest it. Then we have reserve investment, the $258,848. And then capital investment is $190,556.
So both the reserves are about 258,000, correct, you said?
Yeah, currently expense investment is $258, that will go down after warrants and payroll.
When Suzanne Kinsey was here, this happened a year or two ago, we wanted to have 6 months of reserve capacity, always.
That's why the subsidy.
For
For
operational expenses. If something happens to tax revenue income, that we would still operate this district for another 6 months. I think we have more than that, because we're looking at an average of between $30,000 and $40,000 a month of expenses. So if we go off of $35,000 a month, splitting the difference, how many months do we have? We have like 7 months.
Yeah.
Close to 7 months, 8 months, if we're at 35,000, more if we're at 30,000. Like I said, the capital expenses are going to end up being heavy.
Well, also let's not forget, if we, in the unlikely event that we have to draw from our true reserve funds, from that particular line item, no doubt our expenses will go down immediately too, because it'd be complete fools to keep on spending money where we didn't need to. Okay, so we may have enough for a whole year. But to come to the question on the table is, what do you want to do with the $50,000? After listening to, and I've heard it before, the chief, all of this SCBA stuff and all kinds of other stuff coming up, that we may or may not get grants for. I'm leaning towards putting that amount into capital expense, into the capital line item. Let it sit there for a while, let it sit there for whatever length of time. To answer your question, Jeff, I don't believe that the county has money managers employed. The money is all in one big pot, correct me if I'm wrong. It's in one big pot, one account, in one bank or two banks over in Whatcom County. And it's all differentiated by line items for the different districts only. And then all those line items from all those districts total up the total amount that the county is sitting in the one or two banks over there. Am I correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so we don't really have a choice to give it to a money manager and to get some better results, if you may. What do we get on interest nowadays? Not much, 1% or so?
Yeah, it's not a lot, I don't know the exact number.
Well,
I
still,
know it fluctuates, it's been decent, but it's.
Anyhow, and anything else you guys want regarding that so-called net profit of the corporation, $50,000? Where you want to put it? I mean, you want to put it in the reserve?
The benefit that we have is that I do not believe there's a resolution on the books that dictates any of those counts for any specific reason. It hasn't been done by the resolution, which is a benefit to this panel because we can move and use the money as we need as things come up. I know other fire districts do that the same way as well. So even if we don't put it into a capital reserve account and we put it into one of the other accounts, we can still remove that money at a later date if we need that for operational expenses.
Because essentially it's a savings account.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm in agreement that we should do nothing to that risks or threatens our capital balance, such as the reversal of the stock market or the bond market dropping down.
Right.
We'll lose money, guaranteed, if we try to manage it for its maximum interest return, because that's not its purpose.
Right.
So I'm also in favor of the commissioners, the chairman's thoughts on this issue.
Good.
I said capital, I'll stick with it.
Okay.
Any other motion?
Put the
We'll make a motion on that. I believe, remembering that we used to do that. I don't know, or we
Well, I'd make a motion that we take the 50-some-odd thousand dollars excess from last year and
47.
put
47,000.
47,000.
Okay.
I would not do that. I would write the minutes such to expose that the topic was covered in the presentation, that the commissioners considered the various options and where they place the money where it's absolutely safe, and then the amount can go. If someone's reading this in the future and calling us to question, I want the intent to be in the motion, which is more important than the actual motion, in my opinion.
But the money goes in, the money is already here,
Yeah.
and it's already in the account, into the main big account. It's just a matter as to
Changing
bookkeeping.
policy.
Yeah, bookkeeping wise, which line item gets it and which one doesn't get it.
Right.
But this is such a large amount. We need to have all the books for auditing purposes, that this money goes from the general account, general line item rather, to the next line item. That's why we're doing it, nothing else. The money doesn't move from one bank to another bank.
Well, I agree with what Jeff's saying. We should explain what we're doing, and Linda will do that when she does the minutes, as she always does. So she's explaining where it's going and what, that we discussed it, and that's be Jeff's motion, that's fine, I'll second it.
Oh, I was just going to say, relatively speaking, when we report to the auditor once a year, really, all of our cash, even though we have it segregated in different accounts, it's looked at as one line item. It's only reported as one line item.
Yeah, makes
So,
sense.
and roughly, last month, we received about $465 between the three accounts. Right,
In
about
interest.
$475 if you include, the donations account in interest, yeah. So, a little over 1%.
Okay. Worthy motion.
Well, let it be Jeff's motion, and I'll second it, and that's fine.
And would you like me to take just that exact amount in dollars and cents, or just 47,000?
No, the balance exists in the profit and loss
Okay,
statement.
the 47,185.90, I will transfer from expense investment into capital investment.
I want to avoid anyone pointing a finger at us and saying we mismanaged the money.
And really, we never see the money. I fill out a form, and which I'll have chief, since it's inter-fund transfers, not just uninvesting it or transferring it from one account to another. I have chief sign those as well,
Yeah,
just for auditing purposes.
the county manages and maintains all of our money.
Right.
Okay, we don't have, at Umpqua, we don't have $600,000 sitting in an account that we have access to without going through some regulatory process. The county manages the investment accounts, is that correct, for us? And they also maintain that, so it's separate. We don't have that cash that we can do something with or take or mismanage. All of that happens at this meeting, so, yeah.
Right.
Onward.
It's always there.
Exactly.
Good, okay.
There's a motion and there's a second.
Yeah,
Jeff
second, all in favor?
made the motion, Stan seconded.
Have it heard a vote.
Throw in somewhere,
All voted, all in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
somewhere in your, somewhere you make a note, throw in a gap sentence. For all accounting,
To do what?
a gap, GAAP.
Right, we don't do really gap accounting. We report as cash in and cash out,
No, that's
not on an accrual.
We are not,
Gap means that we're doing it now.
Well, yes, we are following all the protocols that we need to be following according to GAAP. But we work on a cash basis rather than accrual.
we do not do any accrual accounting in this department.
And we
That's
don't
very
either in
important
this
to note, and
seven.
remember,
It
we do
complicates
not do
things.
accrual accounting.
Gap is not limited to accrual. So, any tax attorneys in the hall?
No, we've always done cash accounting. I mean, mill accrual becomes very difficult to manage. And that's not really our choice.
No.
Was that all clear that the county manages all the money, all the district, into one account, wherever they have it over there? And then we just play with line items, we move from one item to another one. And sometimes by a resolution, sometimes with a motion, and that's about it. But we're clear on this one is done now. Right, Chief, your correspondence?
No correspondence to report.
Thank you. Chief's report.
Chief's report, I'd like to, this is February for January of 2016. Homeowners, please call your insurance company. I'm going to keep reminding you to do that. There's a lot of people I don't believe who have contacted their homeowners insurance to get the benefit of the ISO change from a 6 to a 5. Nothing to report on the apparatus. Member roster 45. We're going to be losing and interchanging some members coming up. We're running a training academy right now with 10 cadets who are going through a 2-week academy, spending all weekends here, 8-hour days to learn the operations of the district. And then come April, after I do my chief's interviews, I'll be choosing probably up to 5 members, depending on how many we've lost to that point, to take positions back in this organization. We also have one community member. He's doing extremely well, very quick learner. He'll have to go to the Fire Training Academy. He does not have any training in fire suppression at this point or medical for EMT. So most likely I'll send him to fire training mid-year down in Texas. It's an online program. He'll do the majority of the didactic work online. And then go down to Texas for 2 weeks and get his skills checked off and test out for IFSAC certification. That's what I got to report about personnel. Volunteer hours, 3,000. Volunteer payroll, 15,293. Combined chief hours, I worked 164. Assistant chief shields, 120.5. Total chief hours, 284.5. We had 6 calls. Kind of got off to a slow start for the year. Good for the community though. We had 4 EMS calls. We had 2 transports to St. Joseph's, 2 no transports. And we had 1 Ferndale medic, and North Whatcom should not be in there. So I apologize for the numbers not being correct there.
I have it to 6.
Yeah, me too.
6, but we had 2 fire calls.
Oh.
So I apologize, I'll correct that. My apologies, I thought I had corrected that. Public service, none. Law enforcement assist, none. We had 2 fire classifications. We had a chimney fire and we had 1 false alarm. The chimney fire was okay. The house was all right. I'll report back next month as well, but we just had a house fire over off Williams. The house was a complete loss, but we put a good stop on it. And we were able to save actually a lot of their personal salvage, a lot of their personal belongings, clothing, records, passports, those types of things. So I was very proud of the crew that was on this last weekend. They worked extremely hard on that fire, and they learned a lot. So it was actually the first real fire, true response fire that we've done since I've actually been chief here. We have a lot of practice. Those are controlled environments, but to roll up on a house that you have fire coming through all the windows and through the roof on approach, it puts you into a different classification of nerves. So, but we did well, and we had a long talk, and a lot of lessons learned as well that'll make us even better on the next one coming out. That concludes my chief's report for February.
I have a question.
Yeah.
They're selling our transfer point at exit 20.
Yeah,
What are we going to do?
we'll still use it. It won't matter. It won't matter. We still have areas that we can pull into
Okay.
down there. We don't pull specifically into their parking lot
No.
per se. Plus, it's just, we use the pull-in at the fire station, but there's also one just up the road at the light to the right. That is a back end that we can use too. So I don't see us changing that checkpoint. I'll let you know that I had a meeting with Delta Fire Rescue as well. I met met with their operations chief, the new operations chief that's coming on board, Chief Copeland, and one of their assistant chiefs over emergency management. It was supposed to be an hour, ended up being 3 hours. We had great conversations regarding our international agreement, expectations between both organizations. We wanted to confirm that our RIT, which is Rapid Intervention Team, interoperability was positive, and that's meaning that their RIT bag, Canadian-made Scott packs, but that their Scott RIT pack actually connected into our SCBAs that we currently have. We confirmed that that was correct, and if they're called in to assist us on a structure fire and set up as a RIT team, that if a mayday is called from inside that residence, they would be able to activate and successfully conduct that operation. We will be, right now, they're sending the international agreement for review. It's coming up in November. They're sending it to their general counsel. Once their legal counsel looks it over, I'll obtain that. I'll send it to our legal counsel as well. We'll make sure that all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed. And then that will come to this commissioner panel at a later meeting this year, before it expires. And that will be explained, any changes or anything necessary at that point.
Okay. Keep talking, Chief.
Surplus equipment, we've gone through all of our old turnout gears. Anything that's older than 10 years of age is considered obsolete, not able to be used in structural firefighting. So we have to surplus that to get rid of it. There's a number of ways that we can do that. Currently on the surplus list, we have 9 helmets that are outdated, 11 turnout jackets, and 13 turnout pants. It seems like all of our boots are still good, John. So this also puts us into a difficult situation. Now we've lost basically 12 complete turnout ensembles, and that's gear that we don't have to place people into. So I may end up making another gear order this year to get some reserves in capacity, but also I might have to order new gear for any new hires that we can't fit with the gear that we currently have in stock.
Is there a market for the second-hand? How much, if you converted this to money, some buyers, sellers, warehouse somewhere, what do you think it would total?
Yeah, no fire service organization in the States can use this. So we can't sell it to any other organization. What normally happens with expired turnout gear, SCBAs, those types of things, there's Firefighters Without Borders, it's an organization, and a lot of times this gets turned over to Mexico and it goes to support, actually, some, the fire department of Cabo actually has some gear from Washington State. So if you ever go down there, stop in, and they have firefighting gear. They have trucks from California, fire trucks, all those types of things, but Mexico doesn't have the standards we have. So these organizations send them to basically third world countries that have no other means of obtaining such gear. Even though it's expired in our standards, they will use it and it will benefit them. So there's a multitude of avenues that we can go through to do that. But for anything, for us to get money out of it in the United States, there's no place for us to put it. If construction people wanted to buy it, I guess construction people could want to buy it just to have the protection of the gear. But for fire suppression purposes, it's obsolete.
Okay, fine. Chief, continue.
I mentioned that in February I was going to go over the communications tower, and I want to do that for the public. John, can you hit the front lights?
Yep.
Please? So, if you remember, around March, April last year, 2015, I put this up. This was from the study that we had completed from an organization. And they pinged off of where we were getting dispatched off, either Galbraith or Sumas Mountain down the county. And this was the coverage. So green's good, red, no coverage, yellow, possibly no coverage. And that's where we stood. So after the communication tower was complete, and it's an ongoing tweaks. We're tweaking it on a regular basis for better coverage, doing stuff with the antennas, seeing what we can do. Now, the colors don't match, I'll just let you know. So this is a different program and use different colors, so let me explain the colors. Red's not bad here, okay? So if you look at the chart down here, anything over what they consider to be a signal, a negative 95 is basically no coverage. So what that means is anything blue up here would be no coverage. Okay, so the red, excellent coverage, it's a negative 45. Okay, so the red, the orange, the yellow, the green is the worst that we have in a large area here with a negative 75, but it's well within and below the negative 95 when you're talking about power that's put out from the tower. Where I bought my new home is the worst.
Yeah, a little light blue.
Just to let you guys know, this nice little light blue area down here, that gives me a negative 85 to negative 95. So I'm on the cusp, being down on Clare Lane, but I've done multiple testings with my paging down there without being in an extra base, and I haven't missed a page when we've tested down there with Prospect. Our goal, this little blue dot up here, is the tower, just to let you know. So that's the Whidbey Tower, and then everything expands out. So if you want to compare to what we had prior to, you'll see that the whole west side is basically non-covered before the new tower. We had massive amounts of non-coverage over near Maple Beach, and now that's some of our strongest areas with the new tower in place. So our goal is to improve, obviously, where I live and the green areas, and make these green areas yellow or come back to an orange and make my blue area at least green.
How are you gonna do that?
Tweaks
No.
tweaks on the
On the
wattage
tower?
that's put out and the towers and the array of the V-Fire 1 and V-Fire 2 antennas that we have up on. So they can be angled in different directions. So that'll be coming in. It's an ongoing process, and we'll be doing it from this point forwards. Always tweaking, trying to make our coverage better. Right now, we really don't have any dead areas. Our radio communication from our portables is the best it's ever been. So we're really proud of that. We can come up on basically anywhere in the point and gain access to this tower and prospect from here.
Can you codify a little bit differently in your blue area there, which is going to be the worst?
Yeah.
You said you haven't missed any pages.
Right. So we're reaching about a negative 85, negative 95
What does that
would be the
translate
page.
to in like,
Wattage, I have no idea.
not in wattage, but in sort of real time? Would you, if you don't miss any pages, would your radios underperform? Or basically what you're saying here is you don't really have any dead areas?
Yeah.
So,
No, my radio performs perfectly down here.
okay.
So my mobile,
So there's nothing wrong with it, really?
No, my mobile, my pager, it just says that you're getting out on the outcusp of what the signal is putting out for that paging purpose.
Okay.
Now, me keying up on a mobile radio, they're 5 watts.
Yep.
Around 5 watts is my portable, actually. My mobile is 50 to 75 in our trucks. So 5 watts, I don't have any trouble anywhere. And this also shows, you know, we have a little green area up here, right there at the park, what's that park?
Monument.
Monument Park up here. But here, I still don't have any problems. If I was down, getting closer to that negative 95, then I could possibly be missing the pages, not being able to get on my portable, those types of things. But I can say with 100% confidence that our portable, our handheld radios, when we're outside of our trucks, are excellent when it comes to communication. And we really don't have to use our repeaters anymore. We have 3 repeaters, and it seems like our radio communication is better without trying to use the repeaters at this point. So does anybody have any questions?
So why do we keep the repeaters? Why don't we sell them?
We can. We can sell them. The nice thing about keeping the repeaters is if our tower goes down because it gets hit by by lightning or something happens to our tower, then we'll be being dispatched and have to reach Sumas and Galbraith towers again. We won't be able to go through this tower, so our repeaters would be able to assist us in that. So, I prefer to keep them as a safety measure if this tower ever goes offline.
Mine was a devil's advocate question, so.
Can you just refresh for me the total project cost?
It was basically $70,000,
Okay.
if I remember.
Judson, how's your coverage when you speak to your counterparts in the county?
It's perfect. There's no problem for us to reach Prospect. I mean, we're not talking to North Whatcom, we're not talking to Ferndale or anything like that. That's not a daily operational standard for us. So, because I don't need to talk to them. If they come here to assist us in mutual aid, they're going to be getting portables from us to operate on scene. Or they'll be able to go to Fire 7 or Fire 5, whatever operational channel we choose, and their radios are going to be programmed too. The biggest thing with our portables is Delta Fire Rescue. Their command vehicle, communications vehicle, actually has Whatcom County channels in it. They've already been pre-programmed for them to operate on any of our channels, but that's only if they bring their van. They say they might bring it if they dispatch an engine company down to the point on a mutual aid request for a structure fire, but I don't see them doing that. I see them getting portable radios from us to operate on the operational channel. On
And
scene.
bring up to the border.
Yeah, under the IC. We have, and we've had a bag for years at the border that has radios in it, which they pick up anyway when they come through. So they can start communicating with us immediately at the border. But for us to, on a daily operation, that we speak to Ferndale, specifically to a rig or something like that, it's not something we do. Yeah.
So in a disaster, when you have to reach out to the authorities in the county, how do you do that? How does that work? Prospect.
All of our radio communications for emergency operations goes through Prospect. Yeah, it goes through, as with any other district in the county, every emergency radio communication goes through Prospect. Yeah, every fire district uses Prospect. If I need to request mutual aid, I contact Prospect, I tell them what I need, they send out the tones, mutual aid comes our way. Okay, we don't, if we had a mutual, if it was like District 7 and North Whatcom, yeah, we're able to talk on our portable radios between North Whatcom and District 7, but again, that's because we run mutual aid on a daily basis with them. Medic 45.
Once they come up here, our system will work with them.
Yeah, I mean, once they're here, their radios are going to work exactly like ours. And they're going to be pinging off V-Fire 1 and V-Fire 2 off of our communications tower. So there's really no issues with communicating once people are here. And if I need somebody, I go through Prospect, and that's the operational process of emergency in the county. So, any other questions, Judson?
So is that the only way you get to your counterparts in the county? Like if something happens, say the tower in Prospect, how do you get to them in that case?
May I intervene for a moment, Chief John? If we have questions about, I just want to get through the agenda here. If you want to wait until afterwards, we can talk to the Chief. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Appreciate it. Thank you. Now, Chief, is this,
Lights back on. Christina, turn the lights on, please.
are we now effectively at the end of our communication dilemma, the way we started it 14 months ago?
Yeah, so we're fully online
Fully
again.
online, we don't need anything anymore?
No,
We're done.
we're under contract with Whitby. We're paying that contract out as it's supposed to be paid. So we have another $2,800 payment coming in for 2016 for Whitby, and that's following the contract. And it's a 3% increase per year. So at the end of this contract, it will be around $7,000 a year. Right now, we're roughly starting at $400 a month, so $4,800 a year.
Okay.
And that'll just be a continuous process with them. Whitby's very open to allowing us into their site to do those things.
Okay. So this whole thing is behind us now, right?
That's correct. It's an ongoing process, just like anything else now.
Yeah. Okay, unfinished business. Jeff, anything?
No?
Stan, nothing? I don't
Nothing.
think anything either. New business?
I'll remind the commissioners, 2 meetings ago, I raised at the end of the meeting, I raised the prospect of getting, we have some capable financial help in your way, that we begin the process of working on a 5-year plan. So that and the plan should be categorized, I believe, by chapters. And then we look into the risks of our particular geography here, the average. So essentially, take what we're doing now, put it on a screen 5 years out, and tell ourselves what it is we're going to finance. Because the capital plan was a financial component, an equipment component, again, we do that very well right up to the 4th of January, when the budget starts to be executed. But if we get ahead of ourselves, and being leaders instead of being followers, I think we'll end up a good long way towards our goal of being the best fire operation in Whatcom County.
Yeah, and I think I totally agree. During the budget process, if you remember, I stuck up the projections for the next 5 to 10 years and what those projections were going to cost at this time. I think having that type of discussion would be great. I don't know if we can do that through a work session.
You are the one that is the expert in the field in the field here. I think it's up to you to put the major components together and create your own wish list with numbers behind it, time frame. Let's see what we can come up with. I mean, you don't have to do it tomorrow or next month, but it's definitely it's a big plan. I second Jeff's idea on it. It's an ongoing process, but you better stay ahead of the game.
Yeah.
And Jeff made a good analogy saying, we better be leaders, not followers. And many departments have gone downhill real fast and lost all their money, even in Whatcom County, by not planning ahead or doing stupid stuff. So we should do that.
I agree.
We stay on top of it. And
You put out a pie chart, a colored pie chart, we saw.
Yes.
Talking about something much more ambitious than a colored pie chart.
Yeah, I understand what you're asking.
Well, let's leave it up to the chief to come up with some sort of plan, and let's make it, let the plan evolve into something that we can work with over the next couple of months. And then we'll go from there. Talk about it a little bit more next month.
Yeah. The biggest things that are going to be top are operational. Are going to be operational expenses that keep this organization functioning and getting those who do the job the equipment and necessary utensils to complete their tasks. So that's going to be really, really high on the list. So. But I would love to put something together. I would love to have that conversation with the commissioners, enjoy that, and coming up with the best plan we can to have sustainability within the organization for years to come.
Now, I'm not talking about finance, let's get that straight going into it.
Yeah.
Finance, we've got pretty buttoned down.
Yeah,
It's just a matter of running numbers out.
absolutely.
Strategically, we're going to examine the questions that come before us regarding, do we have enough equipment, do we have the right equipment? What is the risk of not getting a four-wheel drive penetrator, or whatever they call it?
Sure.
So it's really looking at each piece and saying, where does it fit next to? Well, it won't be a pie chart, it'll be a cake chart.
Strawberry report.
Okay.
She makes it for my birthday. I just want to let you guys know, everybody that has a birthday down at District 7, she makes their special cake or pie for them.
So why do you
Every
tell us
single
that?
member. Because
What's
I
the
think
point?
I should get that up here.
Too
Linda,
late.
is that Linda? Is
Too
that
late.
from you?
It's too late, Chief.
I want
My
strawberry
birthday
rhubarb.
was yesterday.
I'll bring one next February.
But yeah, that's what Patty does that for every single member of the organization.
Yeah, we'll have a discussion about it. Okay, Chief, you understand your duties in this?
Yes, I will.
Pie or whatever, cake?
Yeah, I'll come up with a list of strategic needs and descriptions of those needs and possibilities of how to fill those needs.
Good.
And then I enjoy working with the commissioners to look into that list and finalize it and have good future planning.
Good. Okay, like I said, we don't have to do that all. As a matter of fact, I would like to see that on a home meeting. You can bounce it off us individually. We'll put down the line, and we all have a better idea of what we need, especially what we need, not really what we want. And we'll make it come together. All right? Okay?
We'll give ourselves a starting point.
Okay,
Absolutely.
it's on the table now, and we'll leave it on the table till we have some. Okay, adjournment?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
In favor?
Gentlemen,